How is it going, everybody? I hope your day is going great. Working at Tesla, I tend to hear the same question over and over.
Take us inside. What did you see?
Which is everybody wanting to know what's going on inside the Tesla Gigafactories. But the thing is, there's not a lot said about it because all employees are sworn to confidentiality and have to sign several sheets stating they won't take pictures or video or speak upon anything they see. But thankfully, I'm currently not an employee with Tesla at this time, so we're going to get into a little bit of what we've seen behind the closed doors. People tend to ask the same questions. Has Tesla hired the amount of employees that they said that they were going to hire or are required to hire? What is it like inside the place and to work at Tesla? As well as a few other things that we're going to talk about. As far as whether or not there's really the amount of employees there that they like to project, there is definitely not. What they tend to try to project and what the reality of the situation are it's two total different things. As far as employees, Panasonic took up 50% of the amount of employees that they had hired there within the walls, and then Panasonic was shut down, meaning that half of the employees were gone. They would tend to wait till last minute and hire people by the hundreds, and then shortly after they show the state that they have so many people employed, they let them go by the hundreds. Me being one of the employees that was wrongfully terminated by Tesla due to speaking up on the fact that what is portrayed is not reality. And there's several situations that are going on within the walls of Tesla that should not be going on, such as quality and safety standards being bypassed. Most of the place was completely empty the entire time that I worked there. Everything they show in here is not even from their factory here. They would take and mix bits and pieces from one factory and another factory. And they got a bunch of equipment that they didn't need, just using up the money because they said, hey, might as well use it up. Well, we got the ability to use it. Everything that they portray is completely fabricated.
Thank you. You know, there's been a lot of secrecy surrounding the Tesla plant in South Buffalo.
Everybody always speaking about the secrecy.
People are actually working there, and what exactly are they making? Kind of the lack of transparency has been frustrating, I know, for a lot of people, because remember, we as a state spent $750 million in taxpayer money to build that plant. And finally, this week, you got some answers.
We finally got some of our questions answered. I had a look inside the Tesla Gigafactory 2, as it's
now
called,
listen to this.
for the first time on Wednesday, but I'm not allowed to show it to you until this morning. That was one of the rules.
Right here.
Tesla was incredibly secretive with this tour. Our cameras were not allowed inside for the tour. The video that you're about to see is video that they provided to us, the stuff that they want you to see.
Exactly, what they want you to see.
Some of my questions, but they would not go on camera. They did let me talk to 2 employees who they pre-screened first. Still, my time inside.
Even the news, flat out saying,
here's what I learned.
They show you what they want to show you. Generally, the parking lot is completely empty.
Of Governor Cuomo's Buffalo Billion. It was supposed to be a game changer in
supposed to be a game changer. Generally empty, near empty.
In fact, it said it's doing better.
If you listen,
Tesla says the state required it to have 500 people working in the factory.
They claim they have 800. That was not completely accurate.
800 workers there.
Not completely accurate.
For Tesla and half Panasonic. So what exactly are they manufacturing in there? Well, Tesla says since the end of 2017, they've strictly been making soap. Tesla now says it has 800 workers there. Half of them work for Tesla and half Panasonic.
What the company did basically to scam here is half of the workers were in Panasonic. They hired a couple hundred employees last minute when they had to show the state. Then they said, look at this, how many employees we have working for us currently. Then they shut down Panasonic, which was half of their employees, as well as let other employees go, as well as wrongful terminations and all that, including my personal situation. But they flat out here provide footage to show, and then allowed somebody to come in, the reporter, and the majority of the building, 90% of it was completely empty. You would come in, you can come in through any of these doors, front office there, this door for the long hallway with all the lockers, another door there, and like the main door, you can come in right there, right between Panasonic and Tesla. And when you come in, there would be one line, as they even spoke on the news there, one line, and the whole rest of it completely empty. So they claim they have so many people hired, they shift them around from factory to factory, and kind of basically, the way I see it, like kind of fudge on the numbers, the way that they're claiming that they have so many people, because the whole point was to hire so many people in Western New York, and they were supposed to have hundreds employed, and you'd walk in there and you'd have maybe a couple dozen employees there. So how they were able to claim that they had 800 people when a maximum there was a couple dozen at a time, and they only ran a few shifts. So you figure out the math, you don't have to be a genius, and that's why they don't want nobody in there. Not to purely protect the secrets of what they're engineering or anything like that, but they don't want the public to know that it's pretty much empty. Everything that they're claiming is not really the accurate truth, this and that. And as far as my personal situation, I went into work sick on a brand new shift, just took entry-level management position within the company, started requesting to go home due to my fever being extremely high, being told by the new supervisor above me that I couldn't go home or the department would shut down. I needed to try to stay. About mid-shift, dropped the charging unit on my foot and still did not go home. This was in front of that supervisor as well as several other employees. They were on temp contract there. And after that, my supervisor retaliated when I shared with him that it wasn't the correct decision being made, and was served very first verbal warning, very first written warning, as well as a promise to get a final written warning. And when you go over my stuff, this is the only thing that I believe I have right now. It's pretty ridiculous, as it was all completely falsified. So I ended up with wrongful termination due to falsified reports. I luckily at that time took a little bit of pictures and video that I have saved into the cloud, and that shows a lot of things like quality defects and standards not being put above production numbers, and the same thing with me not being able to go home. It was as production was put above everything else. Quality and safety come underneath production. So my supervisor's position would be harder to fill than my position. So it was a very simple answer for them to just get rid of the one that'd be easy to fill. So I got about half a dozen of these custom-made Tesla jackets as I relocated my entire family for the position within the company. I was all about Tesla and was representing and rocking until I started seeing some of the stuff going on within the company, such as them kind of just bending the truth, hiding what the truth was, having a lot of secrets behind the closed doors, and a lot of things going on that weren't necessarily right, like people being fired for reasons that they shouldn't have been fired for, and a lot of crooked things going on within the company. If you guys would be interested in hearing a little more in detail about what exactly we've seen, make sure you click that like, subscribe, notification icon, and hit us up in that comment section, and we'll probably get a few more videos going a little bit more in depth with this, as we contacted a few lawyers about wrongful termination suit, and would like to get started on that now that the pandemic stuff is kind of going back to normal mostly, and see if we can go from there, as I try contacting HR for several months at this point to try to rectify the situation. My goal would be to obtain my original position or equal or better position within the company, or at the least be compensated for partial loss what I would have lost within the first year, including I just got all my stock for joining the company and additional stock for taking a promotion within the company, all before getting my first verbal, first written, and a promise for my final, all in the same day, all within 2 weeks after not being allowed to go home with a 102, 103 degree fever after COVID was known about. So production, as I said, was put above the health and safety of myself and everybody else. And after that, they lock you out as soon as you lose your position. They lock you out of your work email as well as your work messenger, which all communication is forced to be done on that, which I have that in documents in my normal email and normal messenger when they keep pushing for you to purely do it all on that channel. So then when you lose your position, they can lock you out of that account and you don't have none of that for reference. Luckily, I screenshot a lot of that stuff, pictures, videos, things like that. So we're going to get it all out and see what happens from here. So if you'll be interested in seeing what happens with the entire situation, the suit, this and that, as I said, make sure you click that subscribe notification icon, click the like to get the video out there. It'll help for more people to see this. Share, drop a comment, all that, and we'll get another video coming up soon.